Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shetler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Bras for a Cause 2025 is Saturday, April 12th at the Carl Craft Civic Center in Hedrick. Dinner is provided by Bubbacues at 4:30. There's a free will donation, plus a silent auction from 4:30 to 9 p.m. And of course, the live bra auction starts at 6 p.m., modeling by the Hedrick Volunteer Firemen. All proceeds to benefit our local communities. For more information about Bras for a Cause 2025, contact Lori Hornback at 641-777-4252. Get ready because Tyler Richardson and the High Bank Boys are coming to Sigourney on Saturday, April 26th at Enchanted Events, 20595 255th Street, just south of Sigourney. Order your tickets online by going to enchantedeventsvenue.com or find the Enchanted Events Facebook page for the ticket links. There are 3 different ticket options: general admission, VIP, or reserve. Doors open at 7 and the cash bar and band starts at 8. It's Tyler Richardson and the High Bank Boys, Saturday, April 26th at Enchanted Events, just south of Sigourney. Hey, it's that time of the week for some real talk here on Steve Shetler Media, Facebook and YouTube. We are coming to you from the Oski Dental Studios for Real Talk with Aaron and Steve, brought to us by New Life Community Church in Wellman. Aaron, what's up?
Well, it's a great day to be in Southeast Iowa, Steve. I'm happy to be with you in the Oski Dental Studios here right above Barn Wired on the square in Sigourney, Iowa. And
Correct them on no.
Every time I come down here, I kind of wish I live in Sigourney. This is a great
Come
town.
on over.
And we're down on the square, and there's all the parking spots are full, and it's just a happening downtown area. So Good job to Sigourney for being a great small town America.
Amen, brother.
So come visit us in the Oski Dental Studio sometime and get yourself a coffee downstairs at Barn Wired, and then sit in the barn and or sit in a bar, but sit in the barn and be wired.
Yeah.
Funny how one letter really changes a word. I was listening to this pastor, and he said I should sit in a bar.
I mean, if God tells you to, I suppose.
I suppose. Yeah, a bar and grill. I'm just there for the tenderloins. Oh, my. So, yeah, it's a great day. We got exciting things going on while this. So this is a pre-recorded show.
Yep.
Airing at 6:30 on Monday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is airing on the 31st of March. Yeah.
31st of March. So on the 31st of March, if you're hearing my voice and you haven't eaten supper yet, it's not too late. Get over to Washington to the Pizza Ranch because New Life Church is having a fundraiser. It's one of those things where you go to Pizza Ranch and you eat all the Pizza Ranch things, but a portion of the proceeds and all of the tips go to the charitable organization that is bussing tables for that night. And tonight, that is New Life Community Church of Wellman. And Steve, why don't you ask me why we're doing a fundraiser?
Well, Aaron, why are you doing a fundraiser?
We're doing a fundraiser because we're buying a building.
Yeah.
Come on. We've been renting for 17 and a half years, and the high school was good to us for a while, and then we moved to the YMCA. But it is time for this 17-year-old church to buy its own building, kind of like 17 might be a little early for moving out of the house, but somewhere around that time, it's time to go rent your own place or buy your own place. And so as a church, we are doing that. We're getting a building in downtown Wellman. We've got the purchase price covered at this time, but there's a lot of renovations to do. And we are really hoping to do something nice in downtown Wellman, something that'll draw people in. We are not, when we get this building, we're not putting up a religious monument that's going to sit empty 6.5 days a week. We are going to use we're just going to use this thing like crazy every day of the week if we possibly can. So our long-term dream is to maybe put some apartments upstairs, and have that available for folks who maybe need some low-income housing. So minister to people in that way, bring people into downtown. We're going to start a Celebrate Recovery program just as soon as we can. And if you're not familiar with Celebrate Recovery, it's a lot like Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's a little more explicitly Christian in the material. Like we'll be really clear about who God is and what God is, instead of the God of your own imagination or whatever. I should pause here and say I'm not trying to dog out AA, because it's been a really powerful tool for a lot of people. But one of the things that we love about Celebrate Recovery, it's a little bit wider. It's not just for alcoholics. It's for anyone with habits or hang-ups or hurts that is just kind of working through kind of those tough, deeply ingrained patterns in life. So it could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be breaking free from the grip of pornography or overeating, or kind of like, what do you got? What kind of problems? Steve, what kind of problems do you have?
Well,
Well, show up to an anonymous meeting. So anyway, I digress a little bit there, but those are the kinds of things that we want to do in the building. But we just need support from the whole community to raise funds to renovate the facility and get it ready, not just for worship, but to minister to people every day of the week. Long term, I'd love to have daycare in there and have kids running in and out of the building. And one of the things we love, my friend Chris says, I love this building because any 7-year-old in town could get there on their bicycle. So we wanted to stay in town. We didn't want to, build a church building 2 or 3 miles out of town. So we're going to be right in the heart of downtown Wellman. So come on out to Pizza Hut if you can still make it tonight and support us.
Pizza Ranch.
Yeah, Pizza Ranch. Sorry. I'll be
Don't get confused.
Yeah. Don't show up at Pizza Hut. Although you can do fundraisers there too. Pizza Hut actually does really good fundraisers for charity as well. But we will be at Pizza Ranch, or Chicken Ranch, as some of us call it. If you can't make it to that, you can certainly donate to our building fund on our website. There's a tab on there where you can give either to the building fund or just the general operating fund. But that's the big news in
very exciting.
New Life Church in coming soon to downtown Wellman. So
Good stuff.
yeah, it's pretty exciting, and it's been exciting to see how God has just kind of brought everything together over the last couple of months. We searched for a long time, Steve. Like Jamie Clark, our administrator, and I spent lots and lots and lots of time on the Washington County Assessor website,
Yeah.
trying to find, is there anything for sale? What are the costs of buildings? What on earth could we possibly afford? And so when this situation worked out for us, it was just felt like really clear that this was from God. So yeah, that's what's going on, man.
Pretty neat.
But what's important about church? Is it the building? No, it's about God and friends, because you got to have people in order to have a church. So God and friends and fun. And so I think we ought to have some fun as a church. Speaking of fun, this is going to be a little bit of a sidetrack here, but hey, the Hawkeye men have a new head coach. What do you think about that,
They
Steve?
do, yeah. I'm excited. It's definitely going to be a different type of basketball than what we've been accustomed to with Fran McCaffrey. But, yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, he's going to have to rebuild the entire team. So by the time this airs, maybe he'll start putting the pieces together with the portal and transfers and stuff like that. But, yeah, Coach McCollum, we'll see how he does in Iowa City.
Yeah, welcome to the University of Iowa. Coach Dan. It's Dan, right? Dan
Ben.
McCollum. Ben, one of those three. Yeah, welcome. Let me get your name wrong. Ben, welcome to Iowa City. Ben, we hope you have a great time here, and looking forward to see. The guy's obviously a winner, right?
Yeah.
But
he's won everywhere.
the jump from Division II to Division I, I would think is a pretty big jump. But wow, what a great season he had at Drake. So.
Yeah. And, I just realized, speaking of names, how you said Dan instead of Ben, we went from a McCaffrey to a McCollum.
That's never going to confuse anybody.
I just now thought of that. So
yeah. So good times. Alrighty. Well, let's we talked about church buildings for a little while, but we really got to talk about the content of the church and what is the life of a church really about. Last week we were talking about the gospel and what a gospel means. It's good news, and I don't want to recap all that. People can go back and listen to last week's show, but we really didn't dig into what the gospel of Jesus Christ is a whole lot. And I think we need to. Let's dig in, shall we?
Sure.
Here we go. But first of all,
I should note that we have some construction going on next door. So if anybody picks up on any construction noises, that's what's going on.
And if we suddenly get really confused looking, it's because there's like some weird noises coming in from outside. But yeah, construction here in downtown Sigourney. This place is just booming. It's booming. I love it. Sorry, back to the gospel. Sometimes we talk about a gospel of cheap grace, and cheap grace is not very cool. But how do we end up falling into that? Let me explain for a little bit. If you're familiar with the gospel and with the whole Christianity thing, you probably have a strong sense that the stakes are really high. Like as we work through, and we're working through the gospel according to Matthew here, as we work through the book of Matthew, Jesus is going to start talking about heaven, talks about heaven a lot, and then he's also going to start talking about hell. And the ancient Aramaic word that he used was Gehenna. Hell, actually, our English word for hell comes from Norse or Danish or something, like the Vikings. If you watched the Marvel movies, are you a Marvel movie guy?
Not much anymore. The early ones, but not so much anymore.
Did you watch the Thor movies?
Yeah, again, probably, yeah, saw the first one or two.
Okay. So Thor in one of those movies has a sister named Hel, and she's the goddess of hell in Norse mythology. So hell is like this cold, awful place where you go when you die if you don't go to Valhalla, which is a way more fun place. So hell is we think of hell as being hot, but the Norse thought of hell as being cold and awful and miserable and probably damp and lots of worms eating your body and stuff like that. So like you get the same idea. So Jesus would have used the word Gehenna, or he would have used the Greek word Hades to speak of the place of the dead. And then the book of Revelation talks about the lake of fire, and ain't nobody want to go there, right?
You talking about fire?
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. So heaven or hell, so the stakes are really high, right?
Yes, very much so.
Very much so. And if you are at all a nice person, then you don't want anybody to go to hell. And if you do, then gut check time. Yeah. Maybe you need to spend some time looking at your own heart. But so heaven and hell hangs in the balance. And if you're at all nice, you don't want anybody to go to hell, and you want them to go to heaven. And so as Christianity, as the people of God worldwide, I think that what we've done is over the years, we've tried to simplify the gospel and boil it down more and more and more and more to make it as easy as possible to understand and as easy as possible to say yes to. But I wonder, Steve, if maybe we've boiled it down a little bit too far.
Yes.
And so we tell people something like, Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and if you pray and receive that, then you're saved. And so somebody's like, well, I don't want to go to hell, so I'll say that prayer. And so you can lead them in a prayer, and that's what we call cheap grace. It's this easy little prayer that you pray, and maybe it goes in one ear and right out the other ear. And then we can't figure out why people who said that they became Christians haven't changed at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of on us for presenting the gospel to them as this little prayer that you pray to get your ticket to heaven punched. So
I agree. Yeah.
I think maybe we got to stop doing that. Are you familiar with the term elevator pitch?
I'm not sure.
I think it's an idea that comes from sales. We talk about it in the book publishing world. You know, like you need to be ready to tell an editor what your book is about. So the idea of the elevator is if you get on the first floor of an elevator with somebody and they say, "Hey, tell me about your product," or whatever, then you got to be able to tell them in the length of a time that it takes to go 4 floors on an elevator.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, actually I'm pretty sure, to boil what Jesus did for us by dying on the cross, to boil that down into a 30-second TV advertisement does not do justice to the sacrifice that he made.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what we're giving people at the gospel as the gospel, and then they aren't changing and they aren't living as if God touched their lives, and then we're like yelling at people, "Why aren't you more holy?" And they don't even understand holiness because we didn't even talk about that before we gave them this little card, this get out of hell free card. So I think we need to come back to this topic, Steve. This is a little bit more than a one conversation kind of a kind of a thing. So why don't we wrap up for now, and we'll come back next week for another episode of Real Talk, and we'll kind of get down deeper into the guts of what is the gospel. And if we have made you curious and you want to know more, just grab a copy of the Bible, whether in paper or on your phone. It's so easy now. There's so many Bible apps available. So grab the Gospel of Matthew and start reading. And don't worry that you don't understand it 30 seconds later, because it ain't an elevator pitch. It's the story about God miraculously doing something in the world that's going to take more than 30 seconds to comprehend.
All right. Good stuff from Aaron, keeping it real, which is what we try to do here on Real Talk with Aaron and Steve. Brought to us by Aaron's church, where he's the pastor, New Life Community Church in Wellman. And yeah, they're on the move. They're on the go.
Come on.
And again, if you're watching this on Monday, March 31st, you might still have time to get to the Washington Pizza Ranch for their tip night and to throw in some cash. Write out a check.
Yeah, make it rain.
And help them out as they move into their new building. Good stuff there. All right, Aaron, I think that does it for this week. We'll do this again next Monday for more Real Talk here on Steve Shetler Media, Facebook, and YouTube.